Hey guys, just wanted to take a moment and talk about the pros and cons of whether you should sell your house to an investor for cash quickly or go the traditional route and find a real estate agent or a realtor and list your house and go through that process and kind of some of the pros and the cons of each, right? And then hopefully that'll help you make a determine on which route you want to take. I'm a realtor and a licensed agent myself in the state of Georgia. I'm with Red Barn Realty out of Woodstock. And then I also own a company, Arbor View Properties. We're a home investor. We buy houses to flip them and also keep them for rental properties. So kind of have a perspective on both sides here. So let's start out with selling to an investor. One of the benefits of selling to an investor, mainly the biggest benefit, right, is speed. Depending on the time of the month, I mean, we can close a deal in as fast as like maybe a week. If we're like kind of at the end of the month or the middle of the month when a lot of traditional buyers are trying to buy and sell properties, the closing attorney can get kind of backed up, and the title abstractors that run title work can get backed up. So it might take a little bit longer in that case, maybe 2 weeks. But because we're paying cash, we can close very quickly. Another benefit is, we'll buy your house completely as is, right? If you need to make major repairs, minor repairs, you've got a bunch of junk that you want to leave behind. Maybe you just collected so much stuff, and we all know you never know how much stuff you have until you move, right? So over time you may have collected a bunch of junk and you don't want it anymore, but you don't want to throw it away. So just leave it behind at the house and we'll buy it with all that in it, completely as is. You don't have to make any repairs or anything, right? So that's another benefit there of selling to an investor. And with those two benefits I mentioned comes the ease of the sale, right? It's just easy. We're going to come out to your house. We're going to take a look at it. Maybe you might come back another day with my general contractor, but most of the time I can come out and kind of get an idea of what I think a house is worth right there off the bat. And make you a cash offer right there. And if I make you a cash offer 99 times out of 100, I'm going to close on that deal. Maybe if there's some crazy unforeseen circumstance, it might not happen, but I'm going to close on the deal if I say I'm going to close on the deal. So that's the benefit there, right? So with that, let's switch to the other side of the coin there, where you go the traditional route and some of the pros from the traditional route. Selling your house with an agent is the best way to get the most money out of your house possible. That's me as an agent telling you that, right? If you want to get the most money, and money is the most important thing to you to get every last dollar out of that house that you want, you need to sell it with an agent. Don't look at the commission as an expense, right? Yes, that's part of it. But when you hire an agent, you're hiring a professional, and it's worth the money to hire an agent and sell it. I tell people that all the time that call me when maybe they're most concerned with just getting the most money and they don't need to sell it right away. The house is in good shape. They just don't really want to list it with an agent. I kind of tell them, look, listing with an agent is your best course. Is it the easiest route? No. But if money is the number one concern, that's who you need to go with. And then, so that's kind of the main benefit of listing with an agent, is getting the most money out of it. Some of the cons to listing with an agent and that whole process, right? You've got to find an agent. You should always interview probably 3 agents or so, just like with contractors. You want to get multiple kind of quotes and find the best fit. You got to list the house on the MLS. Sometimes you're going to clean it. You got to get rid of your personal items, right? You don't want a lot of personal tchotchkes hanging around the house. You want the house to be very neutral, so it appeals to the most number of buyers. You're going to have to deal with leaving the house when there's showings and keeping it clean all the time. Making sure it smells okay. You're baking some cookies or something like that, right? Or if you have pets, like, my family has pets. You got to figure out what to do with the dogs when the people come look at the house. And then when you're dealing with buyers, you have buyers that have contingencies, right? You have probably the biggest one is a financing contingency where they're getting a mortgage, and at the last minute the mortgage company says, oh, sorry, this came up and we're not going to fund the deal, or we're going to have to postpone closing by 3 weeks because of XYZ. You got to deal with that, right? And then you have selling contingencies from your buyer, right? Maybe they need to sell their other house, and then something happens and they can't sell their house, and then the last minute they back out of the contract. Or you get inspection contingencies, and we all know that home inspectors will nitpick every tiny little thing, and that's not against home inspectors, right? I have a lot of friends that are home inspectors. Their job is to find issues, but some people that don't know a lot about houses will see everything on the report from the home inspector as this crazy detrimental, like, life or death thing, and some things are just issues that happen with houses over time, and they may or may not even need to be repaired. It's just the inspector's job to bring that to your attention so that you're making an informed purchase. So those are kind of the different contingencies you deal with an agent. So if money's your most important thing, you should list with an agent. If you want ease of transaction, if you need to sell fast, if you need the cash fast, if you need maybe you don't really need the cash, but you don't want the house anymore, and maybe you own it outright. One thing we'll do sometimes with sellers is we'll do seller financing, where you can become the bank, and we will draft up a note and we will pay you interest rather than paying our private lenders that lend us money to buy houses higher interest rates. We could pass that interest on to you and pay you that interest, and you could get monthly income off that house. So that's kind of a benefit there. If you want that ease of quick transaction, if you want to sell it as is, don't want to make repairs, sell to the investor. And at Arbor View Properties, we'll buy your house cash and we'll buy it fast. But if you feel like after listening to this and doing some research that you should sell with an agent, then obviously I'm an agent, and I'd love to get you in touch with someone who can help you. I may be able to help you myself, depending on how close you are to my personal home. But if it's a long drive for me, I'll find you an agent. I've got a lot of hungry agents at my brokerage that would love to work with you. So I hope that helps you kind of get an idea of some of the pros and cons. And if you want to reach out to us, our website is www.arbor, A-R-B-O-R, view, V-I-E-W, home buyers, that's buyers with an S.com. That's www.arborviewhomebuyers.com. And our phone number is 770. What is our phone?